Welcome to the Love What You Do podcast. I'm your host, Doug Shapiro. These are the conversations that open doors to what's possible when you love what you do. All right. You want some warm-up?
Yes.
You want some warm-up questions?
Yes.
Here we go.
Yeah.
All right. First album you ever bought?
Say it one more time.
First album you ever bought?
First album I ever bought, or I guess it was bought for me, was Christina Aguilera. I don't even know the name. It was her first one. And my dad was listening into it.
Genie in a Bottle?
Yes, like the Genie in a Bottle. Like my dad was listening to it like at a actual like music store. And it was like, this girl can sing. And like bought the album for me. Or the CD.
Did you ever see her live?
I didn't. Did it? Was she with Justin Timberlake? I might have saw her with Justin Timberlake when he like broke off and then like had their whole.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to see if it was the dirty pop era or no.
But I have seen Britney Spears like 3 times.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, in her heyday and in her
not so heyday.
When I bought it on Groupon. I definitely bought a $20 ticket on Groupon.
That is awesome.
Yes.
That is awesome. Oh my gosh. I almost like pulled a rib laughing.
You're like getting cramps. You've been doing this
it.
is this your 3rd day of filming?
Second. Oh, I can feel it.
I've done
like
that
I legit. Brittany, I had like an internal laugh there. That just like
Brittany,
totally...
of seeing her, like when your backup dancers outdance you, that's when you know. She's that was a problem.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Most memorable outfit. The Grant Hill jersey.
Not the Grant Hill jersey. So our most memorable Okay, the only reason I remember this is because it made me feel like different, and I never realized that it was like I looked different than everybody else. I was going to a concert, and it was like some hip hop concert in Houston, and I had like this sunflower shirt on and a sunflower skirt. And whenever they were checking everybody going through the line, they didn't check me. Like they didn't scan me, and I'm like, I could have guns, I could have things. And I'm like, so that outfit must have been like where they're like, oh, she's fine, whatever, keep going through the line. So that's like 7th or 8th grade. They had my little sunflower shirt with the skirt.
Yeah, you don't look very intimidating as it is. Let alone in a sunflower skirt.
Yes, but in my head, I'm very intimidating. But my 5'2" frame has not changed since probably 7th grade.
Yeah, you give off world peace vibes,
right? But in my head, I'm like a bull.
It's a great place to be, actually. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Let's do career theme song.
Career theme song. You know, I finally watched the movie, but Working Girl, like Dolly Parton, or Working 9 to 5. For real? Yes, even though, I don't think I've ever worked 9 to 5. I feel like it's
always
longer. But like I feel like that song is a good like working woman theme song, like women empowerment. And then watching the movie too, of course, gets you like encouraged, and you actually think about how they are fighting the same fight that we're fighting today that they did in the 80s or whenever that movie was, 70s, 80s, that movie came out.
That is an interesting choice, and just the fact that you got there so quickly, that's a question everyone struggled with. So you were ready. Yeah.
And I don't even know, like it's not like a song I listen to all the time, but like it just popped in my head pretty quick. Yeah.
All right. I like it. Well, welcome to the Love What You Do podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Designer at Edwards and Mulhausen. Mm-hmm. You are a mom.
Yep.
Sports enthusiast, married to a basketball coach. We'll get into some of that too.
Yep.
And you've got this combination of grace and grit. Really, you are such an example to me for both those things. So I'm excited to uncover a little bit of your secrets. And
you're gonna make me cry before it even starts. Jeez, Doug, I'm sensitive these days.
Well, you've given me a lot of good content, a lot of good prompts. So I don't want to go there right away.
Okay.
Because there's other things to explore.
Okay.
But let's just start off. You sent me a note around motherhood and design. Mm-hmm. But I don't have any context. So you're going to have to fill me in here.
Okay. So Rob and I were married 11 years, so I was probably in the industry for 13 years before I had children. And I have a husband that enjoys what he does for work, and I enjoy what I do for work. So we never had any conflict of, oh, I'm working late or I'm doing something late because we just did what we needed to do. It was just the two of us. And we made sure we ate, but maybe sometimes it was separate. So it was never any pressure to get home or have a certain schedule or, if I have to go to a conference, coordinating. So motherhood, the last 6 years, and, I have a 6-year-old and a almost 4-year-old, it's changed that. So you have to make sure that everything's coordinated around them and making sure they get to school now. And, of course, when they're in daycare, you can, get to school a little bit later and things that I never even thought of before, and how that we are able to navigate our relationship with just the two of us, and then in our careers, and then adding in these little humans. So that is the broad scheme of like what motherhood and design is for me. And I think the last time we spoke in this kind of setting, my little was my first little. Actually, I was pregnant. We never acknowledged that either. I was pregnant with one, and then I had another, and so it was a lot different. And when he was even smaller, but now he's starting kindergarten, and that's another full-time job.
Oh, yeah.
And you want to be there, and you see other moms being able to physically be there. And then I have working mom friends that are like, well, we send them to school, so we don't have to be there during those hours. But you also want to be part of that interaction of them being at school. So 6 years in, I wouldn't say I'm good at it. I mean, actually, I take that back. I'm not good at everything, but I am a good mom. I know that that's one thing I am good at. My kids are loved. They are celebrated. They celebrate me. They know that I'm here
awesome.
with Doug doing a podcast in Chicago, FaceTime them and then let me see your hotel room. Like, they want to see things.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's a lot of juggling. I wouldn't say balance, but juggle.
And this will be out there for them at some point to watch later in life, which will be really cool when they discover this.
Exactly. It's funny you say that because I hadn't watched some of the things that I've done on YouTube before. And I kind of went back to watch, and I was like, Bo, do you know you're on YouTube? And he's like, I am. And so I was like, and Mommy will be on YouTube once this all gets produced. So it is fun, like you said, to see that snapshot in time of where we were at that time when he was maybe 6 months old. Or actually, I guess he was 16 months old, and seeing where we were then, and now being able to show him now that he's 6, like where he was and like where I am now.
So I mean, it's a major change.
Oh yeah.
To go through this. Obviously, you had time to experience this other life. Mm-hmm. Now you're here. Surely there was anticipation at some point. Like, is this what you expected? And if it wasn't, like, what's different than what you imagined it to be like?
Well, it's funny you say that, because when I do get stressed, I'm like, I asked for this. I want it, like, well, I say, but maybe your audience doesn't know, but didn't know we could have children, didn't know if that was going to be in our cards. And so when we did get pregnant, it was something we always wanted as a couple together, but also enjoyed our lives as we had, for 11 years, just the two of us. As I like to say, I liked my husband. So not... When the stress comes, I do say, I asked for this. This was something I wanted. What I didn't expect, I guess, would be, this is going to sound weird, but I still love work, and I still want to work, and I still enjoy going to the office, and I still want to, I don't always want to bring work home, but I want to finish my projects. I thought that maybe I would be like, okay, it's 5:00, the working 9 to 5, like, that I would be like, oh, I'm out. I'll deal with all this tomorrow. But I still have that thought process of what it is to work. So I thought that I would be able to just kind of cut things off. And like, I had a friend that doesn't have children and mentioned that she's like, well, I'm a workaholic. I don't have kids, or I'm not married. And I was like, well, I'm still kind of a person who enjoys work. And I try not to say workaholic, but it is a little bit. So I think that's probably one of the things that surprised me, that I thought, oh, I would have my little humans, and then I would just leave everything at work, but I still enjoy my work and want to do it.
That's super interesting. I mean, I wasn't expecting that answer, this idea of like, maybe you had a fear that you would lose some of that hunger, and it's like, clearly that didn't happen,
It
which is
didn't.
great.
And I want them to see me working. I want
Yeah.
like I talked to my especially my oldest. He is really into Legos, and so we kind of do. That's one of the things that we'll do together. And I like to like tell him that somebody designed this, somebody thought about this. So we talk about design. Like if he walked into this space, he would look up and see what's happened in the ceilings. He would want to know what these speakers are. We talk about junction boxes. Like
Ha.
things like we're looking at the way that things are designed in the world. And so it's fun to share that moment with him. And as he grows, one of my the owners of our company, my boss, her husband owns a product design company. And so I will have him video like his creations and tell me what he's doing, and I'll send them to her, and I'm like, here's a future product designer if you guys want to interview him for internships in the future. And so like he's thinking about, okay, I've designed this piece of this toy, this thing, and like he talks through it and how it works. And he designs buildings with air conditioning. He talks about the plumbing, where the
That's,
plumbing
you know,
is.
that's rare.
Yes, like he talks about where the plumbing is, the like infrastructure, not just the building. He talks about like how things are functioning and like making plumbing. So those are things that I know from if I wasn't a designer or in this industry, maybe he wouldn't think about, but
Sure.
I talk to him about those things too.
I love that you talk to them about your work. I think that's really cool.
Yeah,
To kind of let them in your world.
for sure, for
Yeah.
sure.
I, let's get into well-being
Okay,
too,
okay.
because, well-being as a designer, you talked about the long hours. You talked about, there's deadlines, there's stress. Like how is your journey in well-being coming?
I just laugh because I'm on the journey. I'm on the journey. I don't think that I've mastered it in any sense. And I feel like but I think it's something that's not talked about much as designers. So we talk about well-being for our clients, like, there's the well and lead and things that we are doing for buildings and for our clients in the building, in the spaces, but we're not doing it for ourselves.
Mm,
So not even just like our own physical workspace, but like our own well-being. Design, I feel like designers have such a burnout. Like I hear designers who are under 30 who are, having these conversations about being burnt out. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been in this industry almost 18, 19 years. And I've had those ups and downs, but like, it's a long road. Why are we burning out after 5 to 7 years in the industry? And then you look and you don't see many designers who are over 40 who are still in it. They kind of pivot to some other type of industry, maybe within the same, maybe it's sales, maybe it's facilities. But I don't know what it is about our industry that creates the burnout. And I say I don't know what it is. I know a lot of things
I was
that
actually going to
that
challenge that. I was like,
we
do we really not know what it
we
is, or do
know, but like
we?
how do we prevent it, or how do we acknowledge it, or how do we save? Like it's almost like we need to save ourselves so that we can give. Like you cannot pour from an empty cup. I feel like a lot of us just pour, 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 and then we're empty, but we're still pouring into our clients. We're still pouring into all the project loads, but we're not figuring out a way to fill back up. And I don't know what that looks like and how we can acknowledge that as a community, as a design community, like as designers, like how can we get better at it? Not being overwhelmed, not being stressed out, not being burnt out. I feel like burnt out was not even really discussed and maybe until like COVID. Like I didn't hear that
Yeah.
term
Yeah.
until more recent recently. So like where did that come from? Like, do we just know the language now? I don't
Wow.
know.
I mean, I think you're onto something. Um, Loyalty is rare in this industry.
Right.
You've been with Edwards and Mulhouse a long time.
11, going on 11 years.
So something must be right about that situation. Like, are there some cues that we could learn from maybe what like how you've stuck it out and,
Yeah.
how you've built loyalty inside a company?
Well, and I have really good ownership. Like my owners, they're moms, they're, women who are under 50. They see and they let you be. They let you be. Like I've always been very appreciative of them because I can just be me. Like I don't have to pretend to be anybody. If I they could care less about sports, but I'll come in and talk about a game, and they're like, "Oh, Krystal, she's the sports girl or whatever." And then when I remember a couple years in, I got a birthday card from them. They're always good about like birthdays. And it was a hand sketch of Tupac, and like
Nice.
Tupac's my favorite rapper, and so they had acknowledged that Tupac's my favorite guy, and they gave me a card based on this on something that I've shared with them that they got that I didn't have to hide from them. Wearing jeans to the office. Somebody mentioned about after COVID, people wearing jeans to the office. I'm like, well, we always wear jeans. So feeling like you can express yourself in the way that you dress and the way you present yourself. I'm a hugger, you know that
Yeah.
too. Like, you know, putting me in the front of the client in the front of the meetings to get the hugs first so they don't have to do it. So I think that, you know, having people who acknowledge who you are, going through things with my family and my health and my son's health, like I was doing hybrid work before it was a thing or again a term that people weren't doing, like because they acknowledged they wanted to keep me on, but they knew that I had this time in my life. They were always I would say I would tell my husband, my parents, and then I would go tell Harmony, Kathleen, about any like situation. Oh, I'm pregnant. Oh, Bo's having to do with his heart. Oh, I have cancer. Oh, things like that. They were always probably the third people who knew
Yeah.
things. And so I felt open. I feel open enough to have those conversations with them. So 11 years has gone by really fast, actually.
I mean, the Tupac thing's kind of interesting. Everybody loves a good conspiracy theory. Is there
Yes.
like a little piece inside of you that wonders, like, is he on an island somewhere
Oh
and he's
yeah.
gonna come back?
I think he might be. I think he might be. And if he's not, I do believe that, maybe he's like still sending things through the universe that we can still accept. But yeah, he might be. He might have, gone away and
Yeah,
just don't want to have to deal with all this stuff. We would love to have him back. I would love to see a 52-year-old, however old he would be now, Tupac, and where he would be in this landscape of the
totally,
country and everything.
totally. Yeah, you wonder how he'd sound. I mean, just because
Yes.
he had such a sound.
Yeah.
Wild.
I told you my youngest was born on Tupac's 50th birthday, right?
Oh, no way.
Yep. I might have planned that a little
Wow.
bit. No, I'm just joking. I'm just
That would be a little too much.
yes,
That'd be too much.
it just happens. It happens.
That's funny. Well, you talked about, your personal situation and how accommodating Edwards and Mulhausen has been. For listeners, who don't know your story,
Yeah.
when I said grit and grace, a lot of it is because, on the outside, you are so composed and you are, I can tell you love what you do. You love what you do. It's visible in you. But there's a grit side to you because of, you've beat cancer twice. You didn't know you could get pregnant. You got pregnant.
Yep.
Bo's born with a heart condition, and had immediate surgery. I mean, the things that you've gone through are not small things.
Yeah.
And so I want the opportunity to learn from you about that. So if you would go there,
Yeah.
if that's okay,
Yeah, for
to
sure.
hear about kind of what you've learned about maybe those two words.
So I am also stubborn enough too. So I think that is part of the grit and the grace, is adding like that little stubbornness to it too, and like being able to go through these things because sometimes I forget, and I think that my mind, which is good or bad, but like I'm present. I'm present in the moment. So when I mentioned to somebody before that I'm like, oh, I haven't been through anything, and then they looked at me and they listed the things that you just said, and I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I have been through some stuff, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
there's been some things. So I think that it almost like a stubborn mindset of like I'm going to keep going. Like, okay, Bo, we're gonna deal with this with Bo's heart condition. I've gone through cancer. At that point I had cancer the first time when I was 27, and Bo was born when I was 36, I think. And I was like, okay, God gave me this child and to deal with his heart condition because I've had to deal with my own my own struggles with my health, so I can be there and understand the things that he is having to go through in a certain way. That okay, I have my scars, he's going to have his scars. We can talk about that, and we do as a 6-year-old. Him and I have the conversation about scars and things we have, but then turning around, me having cancer again when Bryant, my youngest, was 17 months when I got diagnosed the second time. And it was early enough where I didn't have to do chemo or radiation. And I don't like to say just had surgery, but I had a double mastectomy, which ended up being a whole thing because I had a little child that I was still nursing. So
Why?
I had to have a bunch of different surgeries. But now I see the things that Bo and the strength that he showed at 5 months old, having open heart surgery twice in a week and a half, that I'm like, okay, if he can do it, I can do it. I can do this. And so I don't know if it's a secret. I think it's almost just being present in the moment, and being grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm great. I woke up in the morning and I thank God for waking me up, just being able to get up and move. Even though sometimes I'm dehydrated, I need to drink all my water. It's things that I do, but I'm just grateful and thankful. And it's not ever a handicap, I would say.
Mm.
And having employers too that are supportive and that aren't like, okay, you need to be back at work. I was the one that wanted to work while I was trying to navigate these things. It wasn't never pressure from other people. So I have no secrets except that I just do it, and just being present, and again being a little bit stubborn to just say that I'm not going to quit. Having babies isn't going to make me stubby and a designer. I'm going to be a good mom too. So it's just that, not no quit in me.
There's no, but there has to be there's you have a joy inside you. You have a joy for what you do. You have a joy for your family, for your kids, for your husband. I feel all of that. When we talk about random stuff, like we talked about
Yeah.
yesterday, there's a joy inside you. Was that born? Was it role modeled for you?
I think so,
Let's
yeah.
go deeper there because I think there's something special there.
And it's funny you say special because I don't feel like it's anything special. I feel like I do kind of feel like I was born with a little. I mean, you have kids, so you understand that you're like, okay, I did this and this, and my kids are still doing something different. So I think it was my parents always let me be who I am too. I never had super strict things. I always felt like I could go ask them questions and it could be yes or no. It's not going to affect me if it's no. Well, it's going to affect me because I'm going to probably want to go there. But I can't get something if I don't ask for it. And so I don't know if I've always had probably a little bit of people pleasing in me too. And so maybe it's part of that, or I don't know. I don't know how I got to where I am. And also just trying to be present and authentic. I don't ever want to have this, obviously we have surface level conversations in our industry and everything, but I want to be true to me. I don't want to try to be anybody else. And so I think that if you're true to yourself, then it shows. It shows. I think people, and you're one of my friends that I feel like has always seen that. And I've said this to you probably 100 times. Why do you want to talk to me? Who cares what I have to say? So it's always I'm very appreciative of you giving me platforms to speak, but I don't necessarily have any I'm just talking and I feel like I'm
Oh.
having a conversation with my buddy.
Yeah, I wrote down a couple things. So, I mean, you
Yes.
feel that way, but I'm getting things out of this.
Okay.
Even just when you said you're a people pleaser, I related.
Hmm.
I'm wired that way. And I'm gonna go back to a comment. You said you can't pour from an empty cup, but there were no real big strategies on how to keep filling that cup. And we were talking about well-being.
Right.
But part of it is almost like some people, if you're wired as a people pleaser, pouring into someone else's cup in some ways fills your own.
It really does. I do believe that too. I can go to I can be tired and not want to go out and then go to an event and just be hype. I coached Bo's basketball team this year
Nice.
and 13 kindergarten boys. it was a wild time. But after that first practice, it's like, 7 and 9, Robert's getting back or it's like 8 and the boys are in bed, Robert's getting home from his practice. And I'm just hyped. I just want to talk about all this basketball strategy for my kindergarten team. And he's like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "How do you do this every day?" I don't know. I'm just did this one Thursday, evening practice. And so like, I think other people do fill my cup. And you're probably like this too, is that we feed from other people's energy around us.
Totally.
So even if it's like it can be negative, and so you really have to try to like one of my coworkers who is I call her my reverse mentor. We talk about not picking up the bag. So when I say the negative, if there's negative energy, I kind of feed off that too. And I'm like, ooh, that affected me. But when it's positive, it's good. But the bag thing is, she's like, it's not your bag to pick up, Krystal.
Ooh.
Keep it there. You can look at it. You can see it. It's pretty. Maybe it's not that great, but don't pick that bag up. But you can hear, because I'm naturally a person that people just talk to. Like, just for whatever reason, I say I have a face that says, "Hey, tell me all your things. I can get deep fast."
That's funny. That's, Cheryl tells me the same thing. She's like, I have a sticker on my forehead that says, "Tell me your life story."
Yes.
She's
I
like,
mean,
I can't get on a plane
yeah.
without someone telling me their life story.
Libby said the other day when we were on the plane just coming up here and, in line, in the queuing line, and the people are like telling me to have a good interview. And Libby looks at me, she's like, "Do you know them?" I'm like, "No, I just met them like 5 minutes ago."
That's funny.
And so, yes, definitely have that sticker too.
So we share a love
Yes.
for that game with the bouncy ball and the net, right? Mm-hmm. It means a little more to you than it does to me, just because,
Because my husband gets paid to do it.
your husband gets paid to do it. It's how you met your husband,
Yeah.
right? Actually, that's kind of a fun story.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So
That's a story of luck, but also maybe persistence. Who knows?
Yes. And so we're like the true like love and basketball kind of story. So in college, I refereed basketball, high school basketball games, and he was coaching at a local high school in Nacogdoches, and I had to go and referee his game. And in the first game time we met was at a scrimmage, and he actually helped me referee the game, and didn't think anything about him. I'm like a 19-year-old girl, like not focused on my job. Then I ran into him again, maybe a year later, out at one nightclub in Nacogdoches that there is, and he gives me 3 phone numbers, like 3. Like he's like, "Oh, you're that referee. Like here's all my numbers," and I'm like, "Okay, this is weird." He gives me his office number with the extension, his cell phone number, because the cell phone towers don't work very great in Nacogdoches, and then his apartment number. So he's like, "I had to give you all 3 because what if my cell didn't work?" This is like 2003 or 2.
Yeah.
So I didn't call him. I lost his number. He swears I crumbled it up and threw it away, but I didn't. I just lost it. I'm sure it's in that pair of jeans.
It's like,
Yeah, like stuff like in the pair of jeans. So I'll lose the number. Then I have to go back and referee a game that I had got scheduled in the spring, and I walk in the gym. I'm like, "Oh, that's that coach that I never called," and I'm like, "Oh, damn! Like I should have called him. He's cute. Like why didn't I do that?" So right away I just asked. I was like, "Hey, I remember you giving me your number before. Like why don't you give it to me again?" And of course he tries to play hard to get.
Yeah.
But he's like, "Well, I already gave it to you once. I don't need to do it again." And I'm like, "Well, I'll call you this time. I promise." And that was 21 years. Like I still can't believe I have a niece that's
Wow.
21, so I kind of remember it because of her age. But 21 years ago that happened, and I am a crazy basketball wife, Doug. Like I embarrass myself sometimes, and I don't think I've told you that I now have clients though that have kids playing on the other teams.
Oh my gosh.
And they're like, "Hey, I saw you at the game. I didn't want to bother you." And I'm like, "Oh, bother me." And I'm like, "Oh shit, what did I say?" So I really have to, now that I thought my kids would calm me down during basketball games, but they didn't. And now I'm just trying not to embarrass myself in front of clients.
That's the key. Try not to embarrass yourself.
Yes.
I've been to one of your husband's games.
Yes.
It's not some small thing.
It's fun.
Huge.
It's fun. And I mean, all the players are those were my babies before my babies. Like,
Right.
those were my guys. They're 6'8", 6'10", like all these big guys. And, Rob and I are like 5'2" and 5'7", like, and so we are lucky to have all of these players and people around us, and they're amazing. They're amazing.
I have to ask you a question about empathy because, you know, design is a lot about empathy. You were a ref.
Yes.
Are you easy on refs?
No,
Come on, give these guys a
I'm not,
break.
Doug. I'm not. And I don't, I think about it. Well, I'm retired. So I expect more from them. Like I expect more from the referees, I think, because I was a ref. And
So I
now,
thought it would be in reverse. I thought,
no.
okay, because you're going to be like, I could see how they could miss that. No, no love.
No. And now that I'm wearing glasses, if I don't have my glasses on, I'm like, I could see that without my glasses on. And now since, it's Austin and same rotation of refs. So I definitely have a relationship with them at this point too, that they probably let me get away with a little more than maybe some of the other people can get away with.
Have you ever been tossed?
That's the rule. I can't get tossed.
Okay. Okay,
That's
good.
Robert's rule to me is that I have to contain it enough. I definitely got into it a little bit at the end of the season on a no call layup that would have put us in overtime in the playoff game. And yeah, and so the referee's like, "Okay, that's enough." And I'm like, "You're right." I go, "No, it's not enough. The game's over. My season's." I say my season. Their season's over. Of course, it's enough because we're going home. And
Dang.
and I will say for that game, I kind of mentioned it to you last night, because we lost early in the playoffs this year. We actually got to go up to Kansas for the first time to Allen Fieldhouse and talk about design, like one of the first big basketball arenas,
Oh, wow.
no AC, like bleacher, like straight up Kansas, basketball, and got to see the rules of basketball. They, speaking of design, they had this little walkway where they had all the rules, and this is exterior, so it's big scale, all of the rules of basketball written like across this little metal panel.
My gosh, like
Oh,
almost like the Ten Commandments or something,
exactly, exactly. And then the way that they had the rules of basketball displayed, it was like in a little like lockbox, like a little screen box, and it was a little. I'm not gonna say underwhelming, but it was a little like underwhelming in the sense it wasn't like dolled up, but it was just a box on a wall with a little speaker that would have the words of basketball of the rules like read to you. It's
Wild.
kind of amazing being in. I got the chills, like the tip. I got the chills when the game started.
Dang.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I think you would enjoy.
I would. I would. That's like for me. For
Yes,
me.
yes.
Okay, that was kind of a fun exploration. I had to ask that question. I knew I was going to ask that question.
You
So,
knew. No,
yeah.
never been tossed, but been real close.
Let's this is just a fun question. If you were going to host a podcast
Okay.
and it couldn't be about design or basketball, let's not go there.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
what would your podcast be about? Like, what do you want to share with the planet?
So going into that well-being, I think that trying to figure out, because you've asked me some questions that I feel like I've circled around because I have no answer for them, of like, okay, well, why am I wired to continue to push through when I've had cancer twice? My kids had to deal with heart surgery, and what is internal in me that I could actually get out and share. So I think something about like well-being, health, like ways that we can refuel. Because as I say that I've been in this industry 18 years, I don't know why I haven't. I mean, obviously I've gotten sick. So I say my burnout is me. Like my cancer is obviously part of my health and my burnout. Like my body reflects those things. And like I think I need to figure out how to get past those, what we need to do. And so I think having like experts in here that, study, or I say in here, in our podcast, in the podcast that study like well-being, study like the mind and neurologists and all the things to figure out like, well, what is it that, makes people tick? So something about well-being and health would be.
I like that. I like that. It's just as you were talking, I sense that you feel an incompleteness to
Yeah.
you.
No, like I
Like
don't have a
to,
definition
like
or
you want to bring some
answer.
definition to like why you are who you are and all of that.
Right.
That is a constant journey. I feel like that
Right.
Gosh, I mean, every good poet writes about,
Yes, and
I
you're
don't know that you ever get there.
right. And is that, I know, yeah, is that just what it is? Is it just a journey and it's like, there's not ever an answer complete? Because think about it, we are designers. Or I'm a designer. You're in our adjacent, a design adjacent. We have a project that we start from the beginning. We program, we do SDs, we get to DDs, and then we have CDs, and then we get into construction administration. The building's complete. Like there is a end to the project, somewhat of an end. And it's like there's never like really an end to, I guess, our journey of life and like figuring out in different seasons of like, because we change, we evolve as we grow and learn and all these things, but there's never like an end to that journey.
There isn't.
Yeah,
There isn't.
and maybe as a designer and we are a project-based industry, we want to see that kind of end. But I guess like some people talk about even like getting older. Like I have a birthday next week, and like I'm happy to turn 42. I think is how old I'm going to be, 42, because that means I'm here. I haven't gotten to the end. Like I haven't died. I haven't, like I'm here. I'm here for a reason. I'm here.
Yeah.
So I love birthdays. I love getting older every year.
I love that. I almost feel like the way you talk about getting older, it takes me back to that phrase, like you asked for this. This is good. This is good. This is what we all want. We want to be alive, and alive means getting older. Right,
exactly. That's like part of that journey. So yes, I love that you can sense that I don't have a completion, like a definition or whatever. Like I'm still searching for something, because it is like when you ask the question, well, how did you get that? I'm like, I don't know. I can't pinpoint like a certain time in my life that like put me to being the person I am. I'm just me.
I kind of like this idea of like never being complete.
Yeah.
Like we are like the Sagrada Familia, it's like it's always being worked on. It will never end. And,
right.
It's kind of interesting. It's a fun way to think about things, because maybe you change from like searching for an answer to just, like building, it's like a different
enjoying the
mindset.
Ride.
Yeah. It's a totally different mindset. Is there a change you're seeking? Like,
a change. It's
in anything.
I think for me, it is feeling like my health and well-being side of my life, like knowing that, I can get up and do a workout, and I'm not playing basketball anymore, shooting hoops. My body just doesn't do those things.
No way.
Do those. But like figuring out, like I'm a competitor though too. So like figuring out, I mean, do I go to pickleball? I don't know. But I think there's things that I need to like figure out in that sense of like how to manage the work that I love, my family that I love, and then like adding in that health and well-being side. So I think that's where my mindset, like this time in my life, is like kind of where I am in the journey of our life, is
I love that.
Figuring that out.
I love that. I feel like that's what we're all trying to, that's the journey that we're all on.
Right. And
then it changes, right? Your kids grow up, they leave, like that's a new journey, right? It's like, it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool that this isn't the only one you'll be on.
Right.
Right.
And we have it, and we've already been on a few, like being in our 20s in 30s, even with no kids, and living the life downtown, Austin.
That's like the easiest one you'll be on.
Yes, that was our easy button. But then too, I was 27 when I got cancer the first time. So knowing that as a 27-year-old that, lost my hair, and my career kind of had to pause a little bit. I was, so I do sometimes see like people who are 18 years in the industry and like them navigating different things in their career. And I'm like, oh, well, maybe if I would have not taken that, like a little bit of a pause because of my health, would I have been in those situations?
Oh. But
I guess that's kind of the pivot that we talk about, is that maybe I'm where I'm supposed to be. Like, I do feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be. It's you see, sometimes the grass isn't always greener on the other side either, or it's green where you water it. I feel like there's some people, like you see that there's some people who, no matter where they move or go to, when they're always seeking something, that they'll move and then they'll still bitch about the same things that they bitched about at the other place. Yep. And so it's like, okay, so if I move, it's almost like you have to work on what's making you upset or whatever it is before you can just take your suitcases and go to the other
Yeah.
spot. Like,
Yeah.
why am I like that? Like, do some work inside first.
I like that. Um, you said suitcase. It just took me back to that comment of like, that's not your bag.
That's not
You
your
know?
bag. Don't pick it up. And and this designer, she's 26 years old, and I always, like I said, I always call her my reverse mentor. And it's just I appreciate having those relationships because
Oh, yeah. We'll let that guy pass.
honestly, I think I'm 27 too. And then I realize I'm like, oh wait, I'm 42. I almost feel like I was frozen. Like you feel
I
this,
feel the same way.
right?
Like there's times I could be the oldest person in the room, but I don't feel that way at
Nope.
all. Like I feel like a kid and like, well, I don't know. Like
Yeah.
you just, it's in that, like, I feel that.
Yeah. So that's what's your age that you froze at?
Oh my gosh. What age did I freeze at? Like in mid 20s.
Yeah. So
I
27. Yeah.
Because like I had this feeling of like you're in situations where you don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. And so even though I'm in situations I've been in before, you would think I know what to do. There's still those feelings of like, oh, there's somebody that's way smarter than me or
Yeah.
capable that's going to know.
Right.
And then sometimes you look around and you're like, oh, wait,
That's me.
maybe.
I'm that person now. I'm that person. And then I appreciate, the designers in our office, like, asking questions because maybe, well, even like I know we do a lot of healthcare projects. So we have a designer that was working on an imaging for breast cancer. And so or even NICU for a hospital. And she's asking me, okay, as a mom, like, how did you feel when Bo was in the NICU and you had to navigate going through these spaces, or when you were getting imaging done for your breast cancer, like how, and so those are things that I'm able to, because they, thank God, haven't experienced some of those things, but I'm able to share. So it's like, oh wait, I do have historical knowledge that just because of my age and my life and my life experiences that maybe they don't have. And so
Totally.
I'm lucky to be able to share them with our design, like in design too. I will say I've worked, and I'm working currently on a heart hospital. And then I don't know if I've done breast cancer, but I was like, can I work on a spa? Like, can we work on projects that can, like, yeah, because don't touch so close to home. In basketball facilities, I've done sports and
Sure.
and basketball and stuff. And so I'm like, I love all that, but like, I need to work on something that is just a little chill.
That's funny. What would be the dream thing?
Dream project?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that I so I have happened to be asked this question kind of recently, and as I say, I don't want to work on anything that has to do with cancer or heart. It actually does have to go back to a cancer situation. So whenever I'm at MD Anderson, I'm even and now at 40 something, I'm one of the younger people there. And I had this recent doing surgeries, I've had to stay at hotels and things to get ready for the surgery. And I feel like there's no they're like, everything's very separate. So it would be some kind of hospitality facility for young adults that are having to go through cancer treatment, almost like a Soco house, like Phil, like a members only, like,
Yeah.
of course, a membership that we don't want anybody in, but like a vibe, like not just a sterile hotel room or hospital room, like something that cancer patients could like enjoy and go do their treatment, come back, chill out on some kind of like lounge and sip a mocktail and a wellness kind of retreat
Yeah.
for people who are going through some kind of treatment.
Somebody needs to hear this.
I know. I'm partner. Let's partner. Let's
Let's
figure
go.
let's figure it out. Let's make this happen because I'm like MD Anderson has so much money. Let's figure out like how to. And there's so many old. You probably haven't been around that area in Houston Medical Center, but there's so many old hotels. It's like close to Reliant where they play football and the Astrodome. Maybe we could turn the Astrodome into because like it's literally a building that sits empty.
Is it really? I
Yeah,
didn't know
the
that.
Astrodome, and it's the 8th wonder of the world. Did you know that?
Wow. I know it was the largest unsupported
Structure,
Structure,
dome
right?
structure.
Dome
It's
structure, yeah.
I definitely grew up going to baseball games there, Astros
Wild.
games.
Wow.
Yeah, so we'll figure that project out, Doug.
Okay. Is there a question maybe that you hope I'd ask you today that I haven't got to?
I don't think so, but I mean, I can sit here and talk and about
Well, let's do
life.
this. I mean,
I'm
you
like
just
about life.
as soon as you said, grew up going to the Astros game, I just thought, is there like a memory, a childhood memory that you just love to tell, like a story you love to tell?
Well, it's I always think about my parents and not being blown off about being a designer. So I was a Barbie girl. I'm a tomboy through and through, but Barbie was my girl. And so I would design if we like picked up a Barbie dream house. I noticed she didn't have a restroom, and so I like designed out of paper like a restroom. And my dad, it's a story my dad likes to tell about me becoming a designer. And so I designed a toilet and a restroom. And he always tells I had the flip top, like the toilet flat with paper that I would just put
That's
together.
awesome.
And so he's like, oh my gosh, this girl is like thoughtful. And that's how I see that in my son a lot too, of
Totally.
thoughtfulness of like design. And so he always likes to tell people like, of course I encouraged her to be a designer. Like she was already doing it, at 7 years old, like thinking about how her Barbie was going to navigate through her Barbie dream house without a restroom. Like, how's that going to happen? And then he also was in outside sales for building supplies. So I was that kid too that grew up with all of the swag, and like I had all of his calendars, and every year you get a new calendar. I would always have my calendar that my dad's company would give, and tape measures and pins, and so we were definitely all into his like supply. Like I don't know if my sister did, but we were all into his like supplies that he was
Yeah.
supposed to give to his clients. We were those kids.
So those memories, I mean, obviously, you received an incredible amount of support with
Oh,
your
for sure.
pursuit of a design career. It's kind of funny, the Barbie toilet.
Yeah. I'm like,
I,
how's she
I
gonna
I
go?
wouldn't even think about that, but that is really funny.
I'm like, how's she gonna go to the restroom? Come on,
I
Barbie.
mean, they made a conscious decision, I guess, to leave out the restroom.
Maybe,
Maybe they were, I don't know.
maybe, but I mean, she has to get ready and stuff too. So with all the movies.
That's so good. That's a good memory. Well, Krystal, I loved interviewing you. You are such a love what you do role model,
Oh, thank you.
and I always appreciate the time with you.
Always appreciate you having me, and I'm grateful for the time with you too.
Thank you. Thanks for joining me here on Love What You Do.